coming to this meeting from multiple groups, multiple classes. So it'd be nice to see ourselves, okay? So you can put on your video. Let's say hi to each other, just get to see ourselves. Good enough, we have our names on our screen now. So if there's somebody that's not in your class, you'll get to meet the person here. In due course, we're going to institute a monthly virtual alumni meeting just to catch up and do some more professional advancements. Once we have details of that, we'll launch. But it will not happen until we have our alumni council inaugurated. So that's the next thing we are working on, to have our alumni council inaugurated. All the class presidents or class governors of all 12, I think, yes, 12 class governors will need to be invested as alumni council members. Okay, is anybody hearing me at all?
Yes, Mr. Paul, we're hearing you clearly, sir. Good afternoon. And good afternoon, everybody. Yes. Glad to have you back again.
You mean I'm not hearing you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Paul.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. We can hear you very well.
Okay, good. So at the start, I just make some announcements, things that I've been cooking in the kitchen, right? So it's not done yet. The alumni council and the alumni monthly giveaway session, a professional session on a monthly basis. And then the alumni council will decide whether to also have a fiscal social session. In fact, all of this is going to be run by that council. I'm only a visitor to the whole business. My job is to continue to develop and roll out value-added services to all of you in this alumni, okay? So the way this session is going to go is not going to be the typical or usual project briefing that we've all been part of, and we have videos of that in the video sessions in our materials, online materials. What I want us to do is to take the first project and then the next and then the next. You will open the first project in your computer that you worked on, and then you will ask some questions that you have noted for this session, and you share your screen to show us what you have been doing. And then we'll go to the next project and so on and so forth. So we're going to start with the first project, asset registers. So open the asset registers you're working on your screen, and then indicate by the raise of your hand, you have a question, you would ask the question, and then you will share your screen to tell us, to demonstrate to us what that question is based on, and then we will find a solution together. So today is a solution session for all projects, starting with project 1, asset register. Who wants to go first? Oh, no questions. So go to project 2 then. If we get to project 6 at this rate, we'll just be done in 5 minutes then. Okay, I have one hand up. Okay, allow me. So we're on asset register now. So let's hear your question, and then everyone in this meeting can share screen. So you'll be free to show us and tell, and then we can discuss the content. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Okay.
So So far on the asset register, we have been able to do a little thing. We are still working on it. So from this, what we have done so far, this first column here, since it's the same building, we are going to remove it and put it here, so that it will not be
repetitive. Very good.
So, and also, I have my, okay, we are still working on the estimated useful life for some items. Though some of them, as it is, it's difficult to actually predict, but we are working towards just getting a figure using our engineering and experience, best guess.
Are you not being too optimistic? Are you not being too optimistic? Putting 5 years for hand sanitizer dispensers. Those things don't do more than 1 year.
In fact, I think we did this last month, and from what I've seen now, I think I'm reducing this, just like we discussed the other time.
I think the best useful life for hand sanitizer dispensers are 2 years. The best
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Okay.
Except except you have some very expensive, sophisticated ones that if it's these common ones we see, you put your hand under it, drip something on your hand, and then you have something you feel into it. I mean, 2 years is just adequate for.
I think okay, so I think the manual ones are more durable. I have some in the building here that have done, some have done up to like 7 years now, and they are still good.
Yes. I think for the manual ones, yes. You know, because of COVID, we've all gone this sensor life and battery touchless. So if you have those manual ones and you indicate, like this asset description here, you will put a battery operated hand sanitizer dispenser, right? Okay. Battery operated, yes. So, and then manual operated, yes. That way, the description will tell the difference between the manual and the automatic one.
Okay. I think that's right. Thank you so much. So then the maintenance strategy too. We are feeling most of it. Okay, preventive maintenance or run to failure are the major things that we have here. Though we have some that we should also include, maybe predictive maintenance too. Like the generator, the panels, electrical panel, that we can start using infrared thermography.
Yes.
And
electrical panels, yes. Generators, no, because you're doing PPM on generator. You can't have 2 credits for one device, one asset.
Okay, we can't have one. Or can't one be a dominant strategy and the other one will be like a supportive one?
No, a strategy is a strategy. Your generators are being run with PPM. You are doing preventive on them. At certain 250 hours, you do some things, right? So it is always going to be a preventive strategy. So it will never be a predictive. Predictive simply means you don't do anything unless it's indicated from your data. Yes, no, not fails. You know, run to failure, it fails to act. But predictive, it indicates from data that there's going to be a likely failure, and you act to prevent that failure. That's why it's called predictive. You can predict and take care of a failure well before it happens. So most of our facilities, apart from electrical panels, for some transformers, we will have nothing else on predictive.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
I think that's
your asset tags. Your asset tags. Go scroll. Let's see what you have done. You created some tags.
Tags, yes. What we've done here was, though we have to generate it with the. Let me explain this a bit. Like this one, reference numbers.
Okay.
Which we are going to get a barcode to help us to generate so that we can tag it on the assets. On the assets, each of the assets. Okay. And then we can.
You want to give us an indication of how you created this syntax, these code numbers?
Yes, like this one now. This is Mansa Place. This is AC. and this is the rooftop. RT means rooftop, and there's 001. So they are being labeled. These are the condenser units actually that are located at the rooftop, and these are their model numbers. So I will do due diligence to get their serial number.
Very good.
Each one of them. You can see these ones now. Okay, let me get to some. The same AC now. This one is at the mezzanine lower roof. So, and then they are being numbered accordingly
together. Okay, that's good. So, that's fine.
And then I have another kind of, okay, let me go to another kind of assets, which are not AC. The ACs are quite larger.
Yeah, sure.
So here we have the battery. So these ones, I think we have two batteries. We have two pumps that are being powered manually.
Yeah.
So except we take it as a complete system and then use it. And then that means that I will need to reduce this battery or just make it, create quantity and make it two. So that
okay. Do they have separate serial numbers?
The batteries, yes, they do. They have separate serial numbers.
If they have separate serial numbers, they'll have their own line items. But if they don't, you will now include a column for quantity. So you can now make it two. Same model, two. If there are different models, then different line items. So if the models are different, if the serial numbers are different line items. But if they are the same, one model number and no serial number, you use quantity to identify them.
Okay, thanks. So we have the notice board here too. So it is board, and then this is the gatehouse.
Yes,
showing me so that it will be easily, and this is the water treatment plants, and then we are having the borehole pits.
So what you have done is the asset, the equipment type, and the location, and the number 3. Exactly. What may be looking redundant is the MP that's repeating itself. If you are not using this asset data as part of a portfolio of assets for multiple locations, then you can dump the MP.
Okay. Okay, we can drop it. Okay.
So if you are going to have a Mansard Place, for example, and you're going to have a Golden Plaza, and you're going to have Ikeja Mall, you understand? So all Mansard will be MP assets, all Golden Plaza will be GP assets, all Ikeja Mall will be IM assets, you understand? But if it's only MP you are dealing with in your portfolio, then you can dump it.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. That was fantastic. I hope everyone learned something from that interaction from Olayemi. You can ask questions regarding asset register. As you can see from what we saw on his own asset register, you had the space hierarchy already defined, you know, the building. If you have multiple buildings, if you don't have multiple buildings, you leave that out. And then you have the floor and then the space. And if you have multiple buildings and you have zones in the site before the buildings, you can have zones, or sometimes you can have zones within the building before the floors. Depends on the space hierarchy you define for your facility. Questions, that's why we are here, to resolve all issues so that we can all finish our projects in 30 days, because that the requirements to graduate in December. And I want to have a very big party, very massive graduation this December. So as many projects as we can get out of the way, the better. Questions, guys? You did not all just come here to see whether I've become dark shy.
Hello, sir.
Aha, David. Bell the cat. Many of you seem to have gone to sleep after classes, so and it's worrisome.
In fact, for me, Olayemi's page I just saw is scary.
It's scary. Can you imagine?
I'm very scared because, okay, for my own, the challenge I have is, first of all, okay, normally we have our self-building. It's a duplex, a detached duplex. First of all, that can fly, right?
Yes.
So what we have is that we only moved into this building sometime in January.
Okay.
And up till now, we've been actively using only the first floor. The ground floor, we are working on it, we are doing partitioning. In fact, just today we rounded up the partitioning and also we've not been using ground floor. So for me, what I've been doing is I only have a skeletal information for the first floor. I've not inputted any data. I'm just trying to gather, okay, what do we have on the first floor? In fact, let me see if I can just share and then so that you see.
Yeah.
So when I show my screen, you see the reason why I said I'm very scared, right? So, okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so far, this is where I've gotten. Another reason why I'm still here is because so far I've been doing a lot of offsite because we have different properties here and there, but the one that kind of meets the standard is the head office, which is what I'm trying to put together for this. So so far, I'm trying to segment it by floor and by office. Obviously, like I said, the first floor is the one
you're focusing on
information about for now, and then I'm trying to segment the offices, do it by office. So for now, all I want to ask is this going as scheduled, pending when I input information and also get other items I can include?
Yes, add more rows and add more things like your doors and your windows.
Yes.
And your
like I said, I just have to do this skeletally so that even myself can start having an idea of okay.
Yes. Right. It's looking good.
To continue from. So my challenge now is even before you mentioned that November, I've been trying to see okay, how best can I meet up with November, because I can't promise that we will fully equip and furnish the ground floor. Okay, fine, we've gotten some furniture, we have chairs already. While we're furnishing the first floor, we bought furniture for the ground floor also. But when it comes to proper office setting, the items and all, I think for next week also, I just spoke with our technician, AC technician today. We're getting supply for the ACs for the ground floor by next week. You know, these things, and I'm not sure I can make up, the office can be ready fully by November.
It doesn't need to be ready fully. Okay, so this is how it's done. Okay. You create a space hierarchy. You know that ground floor now, you already have the layout plan.
Yes, I do.
The designation of every space is already there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the first thing you do. So you do your space hierarchy, this first columns where you have the floor and each space, right? Okay. You do that space hierarchy down.
Okay.
Okay, for every space. So you capture all your spaces, including your site, your compound, your gen room, your security room, your security house, BQ, you know, if you are having somebody in the BQ, whatever, the fence, you know, so you create all of those space hierarchy down. And then by the time you now start putting the various assets in there, right, you know that the spaces have been created and you're basically going into pick up all the space assets or equipment that are in those spaces. Mind you, you should use as many of the columns we gave you in the project. For example, asset description is important. I think it's important, right? So you need to use asset description next to the asset name, right? So as many of the columns as possible used. Some columns may not be relevant to you. Some will be, you know, you don't have information on it or whatever. If there are critical columns like useful life, replacement costs, for example, acquisition costs, we don't expect you to be precise use your best judgment to put an estimate in those ones. So instead of leaving them out altogether, you need to make sure they are in place. Okay. So yes, your asset register is taking shape, but you need to put more effort and get data in here. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, John, you're next.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. David, you can just click on stop sharing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, John.
All right. I have a little question, but it's unfortunate I cannot share my screen, or it's unfortunate I cannot even display anything because I'm not in the office. There is a protest going on my site by the host community.
Wow.
So we cannot go in and we cannot come out.
Oh, wow.
So, but the question I have on the asset register is I have columns like purchase cost, and some of these, in fact, majority of these items, I don't have access to the purchase cost. I'm trying to get it, but it is not easy for the
Don't
purchase.
try to get it. Don't try to get it.
Okay, because
do as if you want to acquire it by yourself and then get a fair market value.
Okay.
Don't be too precise about that. This is a project, you understand? When you are in a real life situation where you need to actually, show management the real work you have done for management use, then you use the actual costs from procurement. If you can't at this point, estimate as much as possible. Okay. John is muted. You're muted. Please unmute.
So, thank you very much. So that hasn't really resolved because I couldn't lay my hand on that. Then other areas I like them. I'm working on it. The installation dates, I will get them, but I may not be really precise because most of the items, my facility is relatively new, so I will try to get them. So this is one of the major challenges I have on that issue. Then the rest, I'm working on it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. All right. Anna, your turn.
So, okay. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. Welcome.
Okay. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Okay, that screen I was seeing just now about the asset register, is it yours or is it a student or one of the participants?
That was David's asset register. You saw Liamism first, and then you now saw David. So it's your turn to show your own. Anna, you are on mute, please. Come back with your audio and then share your screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. Share your screen and tell us what your asset register looks like right now.
No, I'm in transit, so I can't be able to share my screen, sir.
Okay.
But I've done appreciable number of columns. The challenge there is how to get the useful. Is it useful life? Where we replacement costs. That's it.
Okay.
How to get that, at least for items bought like 10, 15 years ago, like all those wooden furnitures, how to get the replacement cost. I was thinking of using factoring inflation rates like 1.5 or 1.6 or 1.7 of the previous or many years ago or something. But what's the actual way or expected way of calculating
replacement cost is a cost that will be revised on a yearly basis. So you basically use the market price as of today, marked up for the year of replacement. So if there's a furniture set that is due for replacement by next year, and today's cost for those furniture sets is 3 million. So if I add 10% to 3 million, to be 3.3, that will be my replacement cost for next year, right? I can factor that in up to 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, depending on what I put as my replacement date, based on my useful life or remaining useful life. So I do a market survey now, and I use that to project what the cost will be in the future, considering inflation. But again, I need to stress that the project is not going to try to penalize someone for not being precise with estimates, right? But if you put a 55-inch TV, right, LED TV, replacement in 2025, for example, for 15,000 naira, I'm going to score you because it's obvious that you did not do any kind of market survey. Even if you just use Konga and Jumia, you will know that 55-inch TVs today are already more than 100 or 200 or even that kind of amount, right? So if I'm going to replace it in 5 years' time, I don't expect it to remain in today's price. So I'll do a projection of that future price. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Second question I want to ask is the space. When you talk about first floor,
yes.
First floor. So some spaces have subspaces. So if in the first 3 spaces in my facility has subspace, and the next 3 to 6 spaces does not have subspace, that column I've created is going to be blank that way, right?
So this is how it works. Your space hierarchy will have.
She collect the side view.
If you have multiple buildings, you have a column for building. If you don't have multiple buildings, that column is not necessary. So if you have,
can we mute our mic, please?
If you have, yes, let me see who's not muted here. If you have floors that are multiple floors, then you have a column for floors, right? If you don't have multiple floors, there's no need for column for floors. If all your building is just one floor, let's say a bungalow compound, sprawling compound, right? I might have different buildings in a sprawling compound, and then I might not have floors, but I might have zones or areas or regions or whatever I can use to categorize the various areas. Let's assume I have a campus now where everything is, or a health center where everything is bungalow, but I have a dispensary area, I have a pharmacy area, I have 2 other buildings that are for consulting rooms. I have a theater wing that has 5 or 6 buildings that are theater there, right? So I may not have floor in my space hierarchy, but I will have zones. Now, if I now have zones, if the zones are multiple buildings, I will now have buildings under zones. And then on each building, I will now have each space. A space is an area that is circumference, that is circumscribed by walls or by any kind of partitioning, right? So if I have a space like a flat, right? So instead of having that flat as a space, I'll have that flat as under a zone or under an area, because in that flat there will be living room, bedroom, toilet, store, and so on and so forth, right? So if I now get to another flat where that flat is just a whole hall and there's no subspaces like you said in that flat, I will leave the next column free, blank, because that will be a single line item. This flat, right? And this flat has only one space called a seminar room, for example. So I'll put that in that next column as seminar room. So I have wing flats, flats or wing B. while wing A has multiple spaces, wing B or flat B is just one space. But that space, I'll call it in that flat, under the flat column, under the zone column, I'll put wing B, right? But under the spaces column, I'll put just one space. What is that space used for? Seminar room, conference room, whatever it is, right? And then I'll go on with my description.
All right, thank you very much, Sam. So this is the last question. Asset description. Let me use this as an example because that was using your templates, but it's confusing. 3 horsepower Panasonic AC. In the asset name, air conditioner is going to be there. In the asset description, we'll have the 3 horsepower, right? 3 horsepower AC. Then the manufacturer. Are we going to repeat Panasonic in the asset description and also repeat it again as the manufacturer? So that's quite confusing.
So what you put in asset description should be a description remark that is not already captured by a column. For example, if I have a column for capacity and I'm putting 3 horsepower under capacity, I will not add 3 horsepower inside the asset description. If I have a column for color, for example, I will not add color. I will not say white Panasonic AC in asset description, right? But if I don't have color, for example, if I don't have size, if I don't have whether it's manual or automatic, you know, some of those things that you're not creating a column to add that particular feature for the assets, then you add those into description. So I'm just giving you an example of things like color. When you say some things are big thing and small thing, for example, you may have a big office chair, small office chair, for example, right? And I don't have a column to capture whether it is big or small. Then anything I cannot capture in columns, I put in description for the asset.
All right then, thank you very much. That was all for us,
Chris. Thank you. All right, so let's hear from Cynthia. Cynthia, it's your turn now.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Welcome. Yes, we are with you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Like David said, that first screen that somebody shares is really scary. So, sir,
that is the standard, though. I have to tell everybody that is the standard.
It's really scary, sir. So, sir, where I did my IT now, so I'm using the office to do my asset register, and it's just an office space. We don't have first floor, second floor, gen house and all that, just a normal standard office space. So, and I've really concentrated on whatever that is in the office to create my asset register. And it's not that detailed and comprehensive like that first one. So I saw it, I was scared. I was like, what? Does it mean what all this thing I did? Hello?
Can you share? Let's see it. Cynthia,
I'm
let's
not
see.
with my computer now. I'm not with my computer now. That's the issue now.
Okay. That's why I created this session. I created this session so that we will not be just talking. We will just be seeing and discussing.
Yes, I'm discussing. I saw it. I'm not with my computer, and it's not on my phone. That I'm using my phone, and I can't share.
Okay.
That's why I saw it.
Okay, that's fine.
So just can
now,
I continue with?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Now, but I need to put a little caveat there, Cynthia.
Okay.
You know, if your facility is too small, you will not be able to have the rigors of this project, and you may not be able to score well. So if you don't have at least a fully detached duplex in a compound of its own, with its own amenities and utilities, you may not be, your facility, asset register, and all the other projects you'll be doing based on it will be completely inadequate. And it may end up as an effort that will not score you well, right? So if you don't have a facility that you can use, you may, because we agreed that we would allow alumni or teams group up, right? So if I have a big facility and you have a too tiny facility, you can work with me. You can connect within the alumni group and work with someone else to do a big project. You all be scored equally on that project, okay? So you may be looking at the work that Olayemi showed as very sophisticated, but there are at least 3 class members on that project, you know. So as they are putting a lot of effort into the project and showing that quality of output, they will all be scored, you know, based on the output of that one project. So I think this is something that everybody needs to know. So if you look at the office I am using here, for example, it is just some 30, 40 square meters, right? Our main office is probably another 40 or 50 square meters. And somebody saying is doing his FM project based on this 40, 50 square meters. It will not fly. It will not fly. So you might need to have further discussions with us so that we can see who we can pair you with. But you have to actually go to work getting things done with whoever you're working with. If what you're doing is not going to be satisfactory. So Cynthia, for you, share what you have with us. Send it to training at Max-Migold.com. I'll take a look at it, and then if the facility is not going to be adequate for the project, we'll give you that feedback and then find a way to retrace. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. All right, God's time, it's your turn. Go ahead. Where's God's time now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Okay, so most of my questions have been answered. Let me just share my screen and then show you what I've done.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, the screen is up.
Okay. So this is what I've done so far. And I think the only challenges I'm having is that some of the assets, there are some spaces that I think I would have to leave that way. Like this model, there are some assets that I can't get the model and even the manufacturer.
Yeah, there are no model for drum, water tanks and water drums. So forget those ones. You skip as many things that are not practicable to acquire data for, right? You leave them blank. There are some things that will not have a serial number, but I think all your pumps have serial numbers, so you capture all of those. All your pumps have serial numbers.
Yeah, I would capture those ones.
Capture all of those, yeah. Let's see, let's go through your columns. Let's go through your columns. You left all the columns we gave you in the template, right?
I used all the columns I was given in the template.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so where else are you having gaps apart from model and serial numbers?
The internal reference number and the install dates, I think warranty as well.
Now, those internal reference number, you have to make them up. You saw how Olayemi made his own internal reference number up. It's just a code, right? So let's see for example, you have a 1 horsepower air pump that is 750 watts on the ground floor, right? Now, I don't think your pumps are in the ground floor. Your pumps are in the sites. So you cannot call your hierarchy is not correct, right? So that's not ground floor. Ground floor is in the building. So all the things you have in sites and utilities are all on the sites. they are not on ground floor, right? So you need to make that adjustment. The water treatment is a space on your site, right? Just the same way, not in the ground floor. No, ground floor is referring to a building, so you need to make that correction.
Okay.
Right, and then in your site you have multiple buildings, so I need to see a column for building.
Okay.
You cannot start with floor. Your left column will have to start with building. So you have the first building, the main building, you have the gym house, you have the that's a swimming pool and a sports center or recreation building, and you have the FM office building, 3 buildings and sites. So you have four areas to deal with under buildings, right? And then for each building, you now have floors. So floors will now come under the buildings, right? Before you now have spaces. Now, what you have indicated as location, water treatment plant will not be location. Water treatment plant is an asset system, right?
It's an asset.
So that is not, it's an asset itself. So you're going to call that the, how would you put that now? Yes, so because the asset has, it's a system and then individual assets. Yes, individual assets. So you call this, instead of having this as location, because you've already done the space is called water treatment plant. That's the name of this space.
Okay.
You understand? And that water treatment plant is under your site as the building. So under building, the 4th building will be called sites, right? You got that?
No, I didn't get the last statement, please.
The 4th building will be sites. Your 3 buildings, and then the 4th building will be your sites, right? You can just call that one sites and services, right? Then the location under space, you now have water treatment plant. Water treatment plant now has, that's under space. Then you now remove this column for location, and then you now have all of these pumps that are in the water treatment plant, and then you can go on flow from there. Because when you get to generator room under that same site, you will now put generator 1, generator 2, panel, and so on and so forth there, right? On that site, you now have your perimeter fence as a space. You get perimeter fence now has the fence wire, the CCTV cameras, whatever is on top of that, right? So that's how you're going to capture it. So you cannot capture water treatment plants as a location here. The location column will be removed and to go to space. Then each of the spaces will now have assets listed under them, right? So that's how it's going to change. This is going to, you're going to do a modification of your space hierarchy.
Okay, sir.
All right.
So what about the warranty and the?
So install date. Find the year the building was built. If you don't know the year each individual assets were installed, just use the year it was built. Any asset that you have replaced, you now use the current replacement. That is the date it was replaced as the install date.
Okay.
So anyone that was there from the onset or you met on that site, you will use the date, the year the building was built. So if the building was built in 2006, just write 2006 on every of those line items. But anyone that you know has been replaced before or after the construction and occupation of that building, you can use the year. Just the year is fine for install date if it's an old building.
So you were saying something concerning the internal reference number, but you think?
Yes, so internal reference number, you create it. So like we saw in Olayemi's work, you can use a code that has to do with a combination of the system, the location, and the assets with a number. So you can have, in your own case, you can have a WTP, right?
Yeah.
WTP slash, if it's dosing pump, if it is booster pump, if it's a submersible pump, right? So you could have WTP slash DP for dosing pump, BP for booster pump, SP for submersible pump, then slash the number of that pump. So if there are 4 dosing pumps, you give each dosing pump 0, 1, the next one 0, 2, the next one 0, 3, the next one 0, 4, right? So if I'm using dosing pump in your water treatment plant, for example, I'll now say WTP slash DP slash 0, 1. That would be your internal reference number for that dosing pump. So you create all of those and put a legend. So the legend you're going to put either at the bottom or at the top. We say when you see DB, it means dosing pump. When you see RM, it means room. When you see whatever your abbreviation you use inside your work, put it in the legend so that anybody that looks into your work knows what that code means.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right, so you can stop sharing. Let's go to James.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. James.
Okay, good evening, sir. Evening,
Good
house.
evening. You're welcome.
It's good to have us back again. We are here again. And we are still learning. We're still learning.
Welcome back. Welcome
okay,
back.
thank you, sir. Good to see your face again, sir.
Thank you.
My question is this, sorry, I can't share mine now because I'm unable to do that. I'm trying to, I can't. How I did mine, for the air conditioner, I don't know if it's allowed because I just combined it. Like I went to in my own asset register, I created column for quantity. So if for the building, I did it 2 horsepower, the model, then how many horsepower in that building? How many 2 horsepower? How many 3 horsepower? How many 1 horsepower? Is it allowed that way?
Okay, so now
because I was looking at it at the comparison.
Wait, comparison. How many are we talking about?
Altogether, they are up to about 100 and something ACs.
No, you have to create line items. You know why you need to create line items? Each of those ACs are in different locations in that building.
Yes.
You understand? Because the whole idea of asset register is so that you can be able to use data tracking of how maintenance activities are being carried out.
Okay.
All of those ACs are going to have different times when you change capacitors, compressor for different ACs one by one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Exactly. So you cannot just bunch them up like that. You have to identify the AC in the MD's office in that location. The one in the other one is different. If they are all the same brand, no wahala. Put them as the same brand. But all ACs will have different serial number, sometimes the same model number, but they will always have different serial numbers. So there must be a line item for every AC. The reason you need this level of detail is if you deploy a software tomorrow, right? We want to be able to track what is done to every asset line item historically. Okay, we cannot be using aggregate data for reviewing our assets use, asset operations, useful life, part replacement, work done on the asset, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why you need to have, for everything that has its own unique serial number, it must have its line item on your asset register. I have managed sites where we are dealing with something air conditioner. And okay, each one is a line item.
So what that means is this. If I make, let me get it clear. Like for the first floor.
Yeah.
Okay, my building, it's a block of flats. It has 2 wings, A and B. So each floor has 2 wings, apartment A, apartment B. So if I'm to do this now, okay, I'll go to first floor. will I now say on that first floor, I have this number of ACs, or I'll say apartment A, anteroom, 1 horsepower.
Exactly. So you will do your space hierarchy first.
Okay.
You will break down the entire spaces first, right? So if you have multiple buildings, building A, building B, right? In each building, building A floor 1, building A floor 2, building A floor 3, right? So I'll have floor as a column, isn't it? Then on each floor, I will have flats.
Yes.
That's where that replaces zone. I have flats. And I'll say floor 3, flat A, floor 3, flat B, right? Then I now have spaces. In floor 3, flat A, there's an anteroom, there's a living room, there's a toilet, there is a this. They will now have their own lines for each of those spaces. Now, if I have one line for a living room and I have 10 different assets for that living room, I will now create 10 more rows under asset name and asset description, 2 separate columns. Under that space, living room, right? I'll now add more 10 rows to capture each of those asset types before I'll now go to bedroom 1. I'll now create 10 more rows under again to capture all of the assets in bedroom 1 before I now go to bedroom 2. I'll now capture more rows. So it will cascade downwards.
Okay. I understand. The asset register will be heavy.
That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. So the thing is, if you are able to get it right, you now have a management tool. If you are being told an AC is having fault in flat B, floor 2, for example, which of the AC? The AC in the master bedroom, right? You can know that that AC is a Panasonic AC, it's a 3 horsepower or a 2 horsepower, it's a fan below, it's a cassette unit. You get what I'm saying? You can specifically know that this is the AC that somebody has complained about. And then if you have a maintenance and repair tracking data on that line item, what they say is not working, and you know that a compressor was changed on it just a month ago, and it's not likely that compressor could be bad at this point, right? Because you have that kind of data in your fingertips, you know exactly what you are dealing with. So that's why asset register, because the asset register is your baseline template for managing all of your assets. And that's why we're doing it as the first project. If you don't have it yet, you're not managing yet.
Okay, sir.
Well done.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so
you,
so be on it. So I hope I announced to everybody in that that reminder that if you drag your project more than 12 months after your classes ended, it's 25K to bring it in for marking. You know, that's the readmission fee.
The project.
So, yes, if you drag your project for more than 1 year after you have done your exam and passed,